All right, now we're going to talk about overtime. So many full-time jobs have a 40-hour work week. Others might have different regular hours, so some might have 50 or 60-hour work weeks. Some might not define hours at all. Um, so it really depends on your job. For example, a teacher doesn't log hours. We go to school, we have to work at school for a certain number of hours, but any other work that we put on outside of that, there's no overtime. On the other hand, if you work other jobs after 45 hours, or sometimes after 35 hours, sometimes after 50 hours, you'll get paid an overtime rate. So that's what happens if you work over those regular number of hours. It's often paid at time and a half. That means you get your normal wage plus an extra half of what you would normally make, so 1.5 times your regular wage, but it can be any other agreed upon amounts. Sometimes it's double time. Sometimes they call it bank time, so you just get paid for, you get those days hours off another time. It just really depends on the job. Okay, so we have Marcel who works for a construction company. He earns $15.82 an hour and for a 37.5-hour work week. He gets paid time and a half, so that's time and a half, full time plus a half, for any time that he works in excess of 37.5 hours. If he works 42.25 hours in 1 week, how much will he earn? Let's change these to decimals to make it a little easier. So 37.5, it's 37.5, 42.25, that's 42.25, 42.25. Okay, you can think about this as money. 42. If you had $42.25, you'd have 42.25. It translates the same way. So he worked 42 hours, 42.25. So let's figure out, we're going to figure out how much overtime he worked. So 37.50. And so you can quickly do that. So 42.25 minus 37.5. And so he worked an extra 4.75 hours. Okay, now there's two different ways you can calculate this. One is you can figure out how much he would made normally, and then you can calculate the extra, so kind of like adding on your taxes, or you can figure out how much it would be for the regular pay and how much it would be for the overtime. Let's do it that way. So his regular hours, so his regular pay, he worked 37.5 hours and he got $15.82 an hour. So throw that into your calculator. So 37.5 times 15.82, and he got $593.25. And now his overtime pay, well, first we've got to figure out what he would normally be making, or else you could, again, multiple ways you can go about this, but let's figure out how much he would make an hour. So the rate of pay for his overtime hours would be 15.82 times 1.5, because he's making 1.5 times the amount he would normally make. So 15.82 times 1.5. So now he's getting 23.73 an hour for his overtime pay. Sorry, this is his regular pay. Now he's worked for 4.75 hours at that rate, so 23.73. So 4.75 times 23.73. So he got $112.72, rounding up because it was 717, which would round it up. So that's his overtime pay. So his total pay is his regular pay plus his overtime pay, and that'll give us his total. So 593.25 plus 112.72, and he got $705.97. So during 1 week, how much will he earn? He will earn $705.97.